Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Tomorrow we're actually finally getting some content over on Global, and we're going to be getting the EZA for the transforming Vegeta. So in this video we're going to go through his EZA details, because things have been a little bit slow on Global. It's that time of the year, you know, going into the new year, where we're kind of playing some type of catch up with JP. We're getting along with their Dokkan Fest that they've already gone through. And it's a few months before we get any type of hype or any type of like big new content, which is Saiyan Day, which of course happens in April. So things are a little bit stagnated right now. Things are a little bit slow, but we're going to cover things as they come and as I see fit. And then of course carry on our run against Red Zones and Marsu to kind of keep us afloat until we get some new stuff. But let me know what you think of his EZA down in the comments. Way down there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's go through it.
Let's do this!
So one thing with Jeets is he takes far too long to get going. I mean, that's kind of a given considering he transforms all the way up to God. That is a total of 4 transformations from his first appearance, and they start from the 3rd turn. Now, of course, that's made even worse by the fact that we've gone down incredibly, extremely short content, which doesn't favor him at all. So right off the bat, it's not looking good for him. It wasn't good for him on JP, it's looking even worse for him on Global. So after EZAing, he will lead Pure Saiyans with the Ki +3 and the 170, and then provide Superclass with Ki +3, HP and attack and defense +130. He does stack defense on Super through all of his forms until you hit Blue, which is quite nice. But again, he just takes far too long to get going, combined with the fact he stacks. He just takes too long. It's too prolonged to really get him where he needs to be before he gets good. So before he transforms, he starts with 110% attack and defense, then gains an additional 30% defense on Super, then gains 15% attack per Ki sphere obtained. He'll launch an additional super attack with 7 or more Ki spheres obtained, and he has a 70% chance of changing strength Ki spheres to Fizz Ki spheres. Now the 70% chance is nice. It would have been nice if it was guaranteed or even better. And then the guaranteed additional is very nice considering he does stack defense by 50%. So the fact he does have a guaranteed is nice, but just remember he does only have a 70% chance of changing strength Ki spheres to Fizz Ki spheres. But if you can get in the 7, the guaranteed additional super is indeed nice, so you can get that double stack in one turn. And if you do have dupes, which I assume a lot of you do considering he did come out in 2019, so we are getting on a bit, what, like 5 years, you should probably have some dupes in him, unless you're a newer player, which means you could triple super in one turn, which is not bad damage. It's not going to be too much considering he hasn't transformed yet, but he does triple stack his defense by 50% each time, which is pretty nice. And then he'll transform starting from the 3rd turn, which wouldn't be too bad, but again, as I've already mentioned, considering how extremely short we've gone down with content, starting from turn 3 means the earliest you're going to see Blue is turn 3 for Super Jeets, and that's if he appears on turn 1. He could appear on turn 2, then it's even later, but turn 1 transforms on turn 3, then after that every other turn, 4, 5, 6. You will get God Jeets potentially on the final turn against Fusion Tamasu, which isn't the worst. I think it depends on the team you're bringing, but isn't the worst considering the first time he appears, of course, he changes the field, you can nuke, bang, game over, almost like a KO active skill or like a big finish skill kind of situation, you know, which isn't too bad. If he appears on turn 2, you're not seeing him until what, turn 7, turn 8, which is too long at that point. And there's some teams that might even finish the fight by turn 5 or on turn 5, so you won't be able to see him in Blue at all. So he now has 120% attack and defense at the start of turn, then gains an additional 40% defense on Super. He then gains still the 18% attack per Ki sphere obtained. He will still have the guaranteed additional super with 7 or more Ki spheres obtained, and still has a 70% chance of changing strength Ki spheres to Fizz Ki spheres. So the only thing that really changes is he gets an extra 10% attack and defense at the start of turn, and an extra 10% defense on Super. Other than that, pretty much the exact same. Again, if he does double, triple super, it is very nice considering he can actually stack 3 times in one turn, which you're definitely not going to turn your nose up at. So now he goes up to 130% attack and defense at the start of turn. Still has 40% defense on Super, but he now gains 20% attack per Ki sphere obtained. And now Instead of the guaranteed additional being on 7 key spheres, it is 6. And of course, the remainder of his passive is still the same, which is changes strength key spheres to fizz key spheres. Actually, no, that's different. He now guarantees the changing of strength key spheres to fizz key spheres, and of course transforms when conditions are met. Lowering this limit is nice, does make it easier, which is good, so you're more likely to get the stacks off, which is the main part of his kit at this point. Having the orb changing guaranteed, very nice. Very, very nice. But just remember, you won't see Super Saiyan 2 Jeets until what? Oh. Actually, you won't see Super Saiyan 2 Jeets. Say if you saw him on turn 1, he comes out on turn 3. You won't see... Actually, no. You won't see Super Saiyan 2 Jeets until turn 5. I've been a bit too generous. You won't see Super Saiyan 2 Jeets until turn 5. You won't see Super Saiyan God Vegeta until turn 7. And you won't see Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta until turn 9. Yeah, no. No, I was a little bit generous. I was almost picturing Jeets appearing on every single turn or on every single rotation. No. Even if Vegeta appeared on turn 1, he then comes around again on turn 3, which is when he transforms for the first time. He'll then come about again on turn 5. God won't be there until turn 7, and then Blue won't be there until turn 9, which, even if you're taking a little bit long to beat Fusion Zamasu, you won't see Blue Vegeta until after you're done. Even if you're on a team that takes a little bit longer, as I said, you still won't see Jeets, because the fight will be done by then. As with how long it takes this unit to really get going, or even just get his forms out, it just takes too long. Like, Jeets doesn't really get good until God, which isn't until what, turn 7? Which, as I said, with most teams, with most fights, the fight's done by then. Or if you're if you're pushing it, you're gonna end it on turn 7, which means you're hardly ever gonna see Blue. The only time you could ever see Blue is the Goku or Vegeta event, which of course is long gone by now, long done. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's too easy. So yeah, in terms of when he finally gets good, which is God, you won't get that until turn 7. Which, I mean, the only fight you're probably going to see this outside of Goku and Vegeta event where you're going to get it comfortably is potentially Shadow Dragon event against Sin, or hopefully soon, within a couple weeks now, Omega Shenron on stage 8. You'll probably see God Vegeta. You may squeeze out Blue Vegeta, but for the most part, with the teams he goes on, it just takes far too long for this unit to get going, and then let alone see his final form in an actual event. But he now gains attack and defense plus 140% at the start of turn. He does gain 50% defense on Super. He now is up to 25% attack per key sphere obtained. He's now down to 5 key spheres to get the guaranteed additional, and of course changes strength key spheres to fizz key spheres. This is decent. Along with him still stacking, having the possibility to double and triple Super all while stacking, at this point, he gets going. He gets decent. As I said, considering we've gone down the extreme route of short content, and as I said, the latest you're seeing Fusion Zamasu, like, the event end, is turn 6, turn 7 on a slow team. This is when Jeets gets good. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you go to the cinema and you eat your popcorn when you're watching the trailers, and you have no more popcorn for the rest of the film. You have no more popcorn for the rest of the movie. That is Jeets. Jeets doesn't get going. Jeets doesn't get good. He doesn't get runnable and viable until God. Which by then, yeah, as I said, Shadow Dragon event against Sin against the Mega. Yeah, you'd probably get him out, and this is probably around about the time you're about to, like, either beat the event, or maybe you're getting Omega almost dead, or Sin almost dead. But against Fusion Zamasu, you won't even get God Jeets out unless you somehow manage to force the run to go incredibly slow with a team build and things you're doing, which, why would you accommodate for one unit? It just takes too long. It takes too long. Like, these forms, they're not that great. Like, you can run them. They're not great though. But for him to actually get good, you're waiting till turn 7. Turn 7 is far too long. And then by the time when you finally get Blue out, and this is all if Jeets appears on turn 1, not even turn 2. If Jeets appears on turn 2, or if Jeets is floating, yeah, you probably won't even see God. You probably won't even see him reach Super Saiyan God, which means you're kind of having a, you know, you're having a worthless unit on the team, or a unit that can easily be replaced by so many other units to do a much better job or suit the content a lot more than he does. So you might as well use them instead. So by the time you finally get him into blue, he'll now raise attack and defense by 50% after stacking his defense by 50% the whole fight, which is good. It's just we don't have longer content to suit that. He now starts with 150% attack and defense at the start of turn, gets 50% defense when performing a super, gets attack plus 30% per key sphere obtained. He'll disable enemies guard with 3 or more key spheres obtained. He still launches the guaranteed additional with 5 or more key spheres obtained. He gets a guaranteed crit on 23 key spheres obtained. And then like the other transforming units that have come up before, like Goku and Frieza, he will change all key spheres to Fizz key spheres once only when he transforms into blue, which means you get the guaranteed crit, you nuke, he does big damage. It works out pretty well. It's just a shame you'll never really get to use it where it matters. And then he'll change strength key spheres to Fizz key spheres starting from the 3rd turn from the character's entry turn. See, by this point, as I said, God is where he gets going. Blue, he actually works pretty well, again, while he's been stacking the entire time. But what content are you bringing him in? What content do you get to see Blue Jeets, considering you're going to get earliest him out on turn 9? It just doesn't happen. As I said, you may get him out against Sin. You may get him out against the Mega Shenron. And that's potentially on like the final turn as well. But it's going to take 7 turns for him to actually get going, which is far too long considering how much damage content is doing from the start nowadays. Which Jeets isn't too great for, if I'm being honest, unfortunately. Like, this irks my soul because Jeets is my favorite character. So I wanted him to be sick. But he takes too long to get going. As I said, it's like eating all your popcorn during the trailer before the film actually starts. That is Jeets. But by the time he does get into blue, he's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, he just takes a bit too long to actually get going, and there's no content where he can really shine. So if one day we finally get some long form content that's actually difficult, or takes some inspiration from the Shadow Dragon event or Red Zone, then yeah, he's going to be amazing for it. Just like a few other units. But right now, he does take a little bit too long for Shadow Dragon event, but at least you can get him going. Against Zamasu, unfortunately, he takes too long. He takes too long. You're going to have to wait it out with him being in Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2 before he even gets good enough. Not even like insane, but good enough, which means he's a bit of a hazard. And I said there are far better options you can run on the team that he goes on, or teams that he goes on. I mean, look. But we got Super Saiyans. There's a ton of Super Saiyan units that you could run instead of Jeets. Super Saiyan 2, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Bond of Parent and Child. There's a ton. You've got these guys who, of course, just came out. Even Gums, Sword of Hope Trunks, Future Gohan, Birdku. There's a ton of units that you could run instead of this Jeets that will do probably a much better job, if not the same, immediately. Godku. Like, there's just too many units on teams like this where you would run him, where you have better options that could get going a lot quicker. Even though guys Mimonsi and Vegito, these guys probably, SSJ4 Vegeta, the year 7s, sorry, not year 7s, year 8s, but year 7s as well. Year 5 EZAs, probably even Kale and Caulifla. Dodge, stacking, all that good stuff. Limit Breaker Vegito. There's too many options. Unfortunately, in Jeets' case, he takes too long to get going, and there are far too many better options you can run on the team instead of him that can do a lot better from early on. And one good thing though, you will get 30 stones from doing his EZA, and we all like building up our stones, especially this time of year on Global when we're face saving for like Saiyan Day, you know, Golden Week, Anniversary. You can let me know on his EZA down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.